Welcome to my podcast. My name is Corrinala. I come to you from the Pacific Northwest where I live with my partner, our 2 kitties, and 2 adopted Mustangs. Information about the Wild Horse Adoption Program will be in the episode description box. This podcast covers knitting projects, my horsemanship journey, and my other passions like vegetable gardening and bicycling. If you're new here, I hope you find the content interesting. If you're a returning viewer, it's always great to have old friends. The format of this channel typically includes musings on an early walk to the barn to feed the horses, then knitting content, some catch up on the horsemanship journey, and finally more musings or maybe a little bicycling footage if I was lucky enough to get out. Enjoy, and I hope to see you soon. Good morning, friends. I hope you have something nice to drink. I have a cup of tea over here. I'm working on my second cup of tea. I haven't even been out to feed the horses yet. So last week, my episode started with the knitting portion, and then I included the walking out to the barn segment at the end. That was intentional. This week I'm doing it in chronological order, and I haven't been out to feed the horses yet because it is just 6 a.m. I have a busy day today. My friend invited me to go riding, and we're going to ride at 9:30, which is oftentimes the time that I podcast. So I thought I would do the podcast early and feed the horses and then get ready to ride. Shall we get started with the knitting? So I am wearing, I often wear this in the morning when it's a little bit chilly. This is a Stephen West shawl. It's the Exploration Station. You have probably seen it before. Apologize, my voice is probably a little froggy. I've been up for a while, but I didn't sleep that well last night. It was knit night at my local yarn store, and it was the first time that I have been able to go. I have intended to go for a while, but last night was really the first time I was able to go. It starts at 6 p.m. and I was a little bit hungry and I wanted something to drink, so I went through the Jack in the Box drive-through and got iced tea because I don't like to drink soda. There's just too much sugar in it and makes me not feel very good. And I think it's mostly corn syrup, and that really doesn't make me feel good. So I got some iced tea thinking that I would just drink a little bit and then save the rest for today. Well, it was enough to make me restless last night. So I slept in a little bit this morning, only till 4:30, and then got up and started drinking tea and knitting. So that's what I've been up to so far this morning. So let's go through the project, shall we? This is my float tote that I made during a crochet along. This is a Nitty Natty or Love and Stitches pattern, crochet pattern. And I am working on my backlit tee. I have made quite a bit of progress on it. Let me show you. I have put a progress keeper. So can you see where the progress keeper is? oops, going out of the frame. So that's what I have done this week so far. So really working on, there's a color work section. I'm going to hold this upside down just because it's going to be easier. But there's a color work section that's about 10, well, I have that right in front of me, 14 rows, and then ribbing. So that's where I'm at, and that'll be the length. And then I have to weigh the yarn afterward to see what I have for sleeves. So these are the yarns. The pattern is intended for doing color work with self-striping yarn. This is a pattern by Stephanie Lotven, and it is in this Knit Happy book. I'm knitting another pattern out of this book too. I am using Chogu red lace needles. These are US size 6, and I believe the ribbing is a size 4 or 5, which it looks like I took those needles out of the bag and used them for something else. So I'll have to figure out what that is. Let me look here while we're sitting here. Change to smaller needles, which are US size 5. So yes, I know I borrowed those needles for something else, and hopefully I can borrow them back here. It's interesting, my camera just cut me off. I don't know why it does that when I'm sitting here. Yesterday I rode Odin in the round pen, and I will show some footage of that later at the end that you can stay and watch if you like to. But it stayed on for like the whole 14 minutes, and I probably won't include the whole 14 minutes. I'll just include a segment of it, maybe 5 minutes. So I don't know why it does that. Let me show you the other pattern that I am knitting out of that book. It's called the no, it's not. It is called, I don't remember what it's called, but it is this t-shirt right here that has the self-striping. So it's like plain stocking up, it's a bottom up, and then it has the self-striping around the yoke. I have a pencil in its place, and right now it's called Bright Axis Tee. Also fingering weight yarn. I am using a Knit Picks yarn. This could be one of my size 5. So I haven't made a huge amount of progress on this, and I don't have a progress keeper in here. So I mean, just round and round knitting. And then the yarn I am using for the yoke or the shoulders is this, a self-striping yarn by Freckled Whimsy. And that Freckled Whimsy is the yarn that I am using in the other one too. So let's see what these needles are. These are US size 3, but I suspect that these are my size 5 needles. I know I have another set somewhere. You know what? I am going to put a progress keeper in right now so that next week it'll feel like I have made some progress. I'm going to use this little macaroon progress keeper. Oh, it sounds like it's raining out, and it is. I am making a birthday vlog. It's my birthday weekend. So I am making a birthday vlog also. And I started it yesterday. And I am celebrating through Monday. So I'll have a vlog for you too. So now I have my little macaroon. I've got my little Scottish Highlander cow stitch stoppers that I got. I forgot to show the needle stoppers for this one. So Carrie from My Wool Mitten gave me these. Bring them closer so you can see, appreciate them. So This was part of a care package she sent for me when I was first injured my shoulder. Speaking of my shoulder, I'm still in recovery. I'm still working on strength and coordination and range of motion. It's much better. I saw the surgeon on Monday and he said I didn't need to come back to see him because I'm making great progress unless something in the reverse happens, which I have no intention of doing that. Even though I have resumed riding my horse, I rode Odin by myself on trails twice last weekend. It went great. One day he had ants on the first day he had ants in his pants. I did take some video of that, so maybe I'll include that as well at the end. So you might get a good dose of horsemanship if you were interested in that. But I ended up having to get off like 3 times, or maybe it was only twice. It just means mounting 3 times. The parking lot where I ride has a really nice, sturdy mounting block. But if I have to get off out on the trails, then I need to find a stump or a log, which is pretty easy because it's a working tree farm and there's a lot of logging activity. I also forgot to mention that this bag was made by my mom. It's a drawstring bag that she sewed together with a ribbon, and I tie it a little tight because I have a little yarn murderer sitting over here. Yes, hi kitty. Herbert's over here. Harley's having a timeout. He's had some anxiety and anger issues, so we are waiting for some kitty Prozac to arrive in the mail, but he often has to have some quality time by himself in the morning, and then when he can feel civil again, then he can rejoin. So that seems to be the best thing. I haven't made a lot of progress on this sock. This is a colorwork sock that of my own. The motifs are my own design. So I did start it. I don't think I had that last time. I'll show you the finished sock that's on the sock blocker. All made out of scrap yarn. Another bag made by my mom. This is a lined one. It has a really pretty orange fabric that complements this very well. And it fits in, I have my patriotic flag here in my knitting bag. I intended to go to a protest last weekend, but I had this is totally an excuse. I know going to a protest would have made me feel a ton better. I just could not muster last weekend, even though I said I was going to go in the one trail riding video that I did. But what really broke me last week was the well that goes out to the barn started spewing out blackish colored water, and I had to haul water from the house to the barn, which the distance is significant if you have seen the walk out to the barn. So I talked about that. I won't go into detail, but it just, I don't know. That just broke me. So I spent my time relaxing and just cheering everyone on who went. Seattle had like around 75,000 people. I think a lot of other communities had a lot of protests. Excuse me. So it was really inspiring, and I'm glad that people did that. I don't think that's the only way to do our civic duty. It is a great way. I try to do civic duty by buying locally, by exercising my values. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have a charity. My camera stopped again. I'm showing you my sock and talking about patriotism. So this is a walrus, by the way. I think, exercising our values. So if you follow me on Instagram, I do have a birthday fundraiser for a nearby goat rescue. It's ran by a friend of mine who does great work with goats. This New Moon Farm Goat Sanctuary. This is a picture of Dumbledore, who has since passed away. I have met Dumbledore. I have cared for Dumbledore when she needed help feeding, when she had a medical procedure. So if you are so inclined and would like to help support a great cause, please consider donating. And you can find that on Instagram. So I am really interspersing a lot of things into my knitting. I have also been, I made significant progress on this. This is a really great quilted bag made by my mom. And some of the fabric is hand dyed and some of it is batik. I think she made that comment on my video last week when I wasn't sure. This is the mini mock neck tee. So I've made a significant amount of progress. Here's my progress keeper. This is, the progress keeper is from a necklace. It's not going to hold up. No, I'm sorry. It's a Christmas stocking because it's, well, I'm having a hard time showing it. Here, how about if I do that? Can you see it yet now? It is just really not wanting to cooperate. Anyway, this is the mini mock neck tee joined in the round, and I'm just knitting. It's stockinette because I finished this decorative detail that goes around the armhole. I'm holding lace weight yarn double. This is hand dyed by Nativity, a yarn dyer in Texas. And I wonder if this is where my size 5 needles went. Let's see. It's entirely possible. Nope, these are US size 4. I can't blame this one. Chowgu red lace, of course. I'm really into garment knitting right now. I'm not really knitting socks that much. I have 2 pairs of socks that are hibernating. I have another project that I have to go get, so stand by. Okay, this is the project I took to knit night last night. This is the Love Note. It is knit on a US size 10, which is 6 millimeters. So I've got into the lace portion. Here's the progress keeper. This is a squirrel that I got from, what was that from? I think I was getting row 1 minis for a while. And I think that was part of the extras. This is repurposed yarn, hand dyed by Nativity from Houston, held double with Barocco mohair. This is repurposed yarn, so it's got kind of the ramen-y noodle look to it, which doesn't bother me, and that's what it looks like in the ball. It's quite beautiful. And let's see if on my search for the size 5 needles. So these are US size 7. So that's these are just really big needles, which is really nice. So knit night was fun. The group has apparently been meeting for a while. I said earlier that it starts at 6, but I got there at 10 to 6, and there were already 6 or 7 people there. So, and then people kept coming. I mean, the table almost all filled up. They seemed like they knew each other pretty well. Conversations ranged from TV shows to parents with dementia, friends with other very serious illness. A man came in who is a knitter. He came in right before I left. I don't know if everyone stays there until the store closes at 9 p.m. I was starting to yawn at like 7:15, so I thought, well, I better go. And I was actually getting kind of Herbert. Herbert is chewing on my flag. What shame on him. So it was a fun group, and I hope to get to know them better. Next Thursday, unfortunately, I have to work until quite late. There's an outreach and education event next Thursday, and I'm going with a colleague, and we are sharing about our public health programs. This bag, a panda bag. I think my mom got this for me years ago. I think it might be from the Smithsonian. She and my grandma, who was, she and my grandma flew to Washington, D.C. I think my mom lived in New Mexico at the time, or they may have lived in El Paso. I'm not sure. Grandma passed away in 2013, so it probably was obviously before then. Probably in the early 2000s that they went and toured. I should ask Mom sometime about when they actually went, or maybe she'll watch this and let me know when it really happened and whether or not this was what she brought, or if I'm just completely mistaken by this. It's supposed to be rainy this weekend, so I may get a lot of knitting done. Not as much writing and things that I had intended to do, but that's okay. It's been really summery and the garden's been doing great. I've been harvesting a lot of peas, which I love. I planted sugar pod peas, which are my favorite, and also snow peas, which both are quite good. I stir-fried up like an Asian-inspired dish with some tofu. The sauce was like a soy sauce, sesame oil, ginger, fresh grated ginger. You could probably use powdered ginger if you wanted to. Some sherry. I feel like there was... I think a couple tablespoons of brown sugar too. Very, very tasty. So this, you recognize this fabric and the style of bag by my mom. So this is my 100-acre wood blanket. I have knit on it a little bit. And I am using Addy Flexi Flips. I think these are the 2.75 millimeter needles. So this is where I am at with this. So get all the spaghetti out of here. I think I might have been on this gray square last time. This is actually, these squares take, I want to say maybe 3 grams of yarn, and I had I had less than 3 grams for both of these, so they got combined. And then this is a self-striping yarn, and I honestly don't remember what this is. This could be leftovers from an advent or a sock, the contrast color. So that's where I'm at with that. Probably work on that today. I'm not feeling very optimistic about writing today, but that's okay. Odin would not mind the day off. So that is the 100-acre wood blanket. It is a design by Kay Jones. I don't think this pattern is available. I think it's only available to their patrons, the Bakery Bear patrons. I may not be accurate about that. It's a mitered square blanket. It's just a slightly different configuration, and they're smaller squares. So you could definitely modify the free pattern by Kemper Ray, the Coziest Memories blanket, and just make it smaller. Just the main key is having an odd number of stitches so that when you do that center decrease, it makes sense. That is all the knitting that I have on the needles and active right now. I hope that was a sufficient amount of knitting. I have lots of ideas. I've been looking for patterns to use a single skein of yarn that I really like, that I want to feature, and I think I found a tank top. And I can probably make contrasting like shoulder straps and ribbing to help the yarn just be featured in the body. So I'll see about that. I think I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'll see you on the walk out to the barn, and I'll include some footage of my recent riding. And then hopefully you'll catch my birthday vlog too, which I hope to publish sometime on Monday. Take care, everyone. Well, friends, it's time for the walk out to the barn. It's about, 7 a.m. or so. It's raining, so we'll get a nice refreshing walk. Might even wear rubber boots today. I've been wearing kind of holey boots because it's been so dry. Look at that rain. I'm not feeling very optimistic about the trail ride today. Whoops, sorry about that wobble. Needed the other hand for putting on boots. The garden's gonna love this. I don't know if you can see my pea patch right there. There's a zucchini that started growing there too. Hopefully it's big enough that the slugs won't get it, because the slugs are gonna love the rain. You know, it's funny, I actually miss the rain when it doesn't rain for a while. So, lots of kale, potatoes are doing well, cucumbers, things doing pretty well. There's more peas up here. We're walking to the well house because I need to turn on the pump for the water to the barn. More rhubarb. Can't remember if I mentioned that I put up 6 pints of rhubarb sauce, and I'll make rhubarb bread. I should do that today. That'd be a nice way to warm up the house with the oven. Tomatoes are doing okay. Strawberries doing great. I could kind of stand a day of not doing much but knitting. Actually, I got a lot of knitting done yesterday, even if it was nice. I mean, I also rode to Odin, which you'll see next. But I got to work on that mini mock neck, the pink mini mock neck tank that I showed in the knitting segment. Worked on that a lot yesterday. It's really great to get that to a point where it's just round and round knitting. So now I have 2 projects with just round and round knitting. Hear that Swainson's thrush? Well, here, let me show you the pond. You see how low that is? There's probably fish trapped in there. I can't see it because of all the ferns. But the stream quit flowing quite a while ago. So it's pretty dry. And there are just little pools of water. Everything just gets lush and green. I mean, it has been lush and green. We've had like some rain and then several days of warm weather that just makes everything grow. See where the boys are. I'm guessing they're in the round pen because I don't see them. Good morning, boys. Let's see them under their usual sheltered spots. Well, I'm going to get feeding. See you next time. Hey friends, second solo ride. Today is June 15th, 2025. It's Father's Day. Texted my dad, wished him a happy Father's Day. And then we're going out with Randy's sister and family because it's also a bunch of birthdays this week, including mine, next week. So happy trails, everyone. This is the ride I did on Thursday, June 19th, 2025 on Odin and the Round Pen. This is for the Ryan Rose June Horsemanship Challenge. The challenge was to work on the halt. And the way he taught it is to have the horse backing up and saying, "Whoa," in a lower tone of voice. And I think most horses don't like to back up, so I think the reason for teaching them in the backup is so that they want to do it. Sometimes if you have a horse that wants to go forward a lot, it's hard to get them to stop. However, for Odin, stopping is one of his favorite exercises. I was thinking it would be easy for him, but I don't think he quite got what I was asking him to do.
Good job. That was beautiful.
We're just warming up here, and I asked him to do some lateral movements, which we have been practicing, and he actually did them very nicely.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Good job. Beautiful.
It's your favorite cue, isn't it? Thank you. That was awesome. Okay. So he actually stopped when I asked him to while he was walking forward. The exercise is to practice the whoa when they're backing up. So we are going to start that next. And he doesn't really like to back up, although he was pretty soft and occasionally a little wiggly, and that's something that we will work on. You can see Bragi in the background just hanging out. And this is the part where I think he didn't quite understand what I was asking, because we would back up, I would ask him to whoa, to halt, and he would usually take 2 more steps, which really isn't terrible. So we will practice that. I just want him to be a little sharper at it. I submitted the video for the June Horsemanship Challenge and got some feedback from Ryan Rose right away. He thought it looked pretty good. That made me happy and feel confident about what I was doing. It's going to try a couple different ways of connecting, helping him connect the dots of what I was asking. And that includes good timing in terms of when to rest. So I'll work on that more next time. Try to go in the other direction. Okay. Hold on.